Welcome back.
Hello, everyone.
I'm Mo.
And I'm Imbali.
And together, we are...
The Sound of Siblings.
Yes, it's another week. We're back. We're back in the motherland.
We're back in the motherland. We've always been in the motherland, but that's all right. We're definitely back with another episode. I just want to start off the episode by saying, make sure that you are following us on social media. We're available on TikTok and on Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Sound of Siblings. Everywhere on the socials, we are Sound of Siblings. So yeah, we really are enjoying the engagement. We love all the views that we're getting from the most recent episode. I think we've kind of both gotten into like a dynamic and a flow Nazi. And I think that the audience is actually seeing that and appreciating it. So yeah, really excited to be back.
Yeah, today we're going to kick it with the game. We're going to start off with the game. It's called Meet in the Middle.
Ooh.
So basically, the objective is for us to say the same word.
Oh, I know this game. I've always wanted to do this game with someone, but nobody wanted to do it.
Yeah, so basically how it works is... on the countdown of 3, we both say a word, and we see how many we try say the same word in the least amount of rounds.
Do we get a prompt, like, or we're just seeing how synergistic random. We are?
Yep.
Okay.
100%. Yeah. So round 1.
Okay, wait. I'm nervous. Okay. Let's go. Lock in, Mo. Lock in.
All right. Cool.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Street.
Window.
Okay, see, I don't know how that happened.
Window, right. Street. Okay.
Window, street.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Sky.
Dang. All right.
How do people do this and get really great results? Okay.
Car and sky.
Yeah.
Cool. 3, 2, 1. Plane.
Birds. Oh, that was close though. Because there's that saying that says, "Is it a bird? Is it a plane?" No, it's whatever. Yes. So not bad. Okay, we're getting there. So bird and
plane.
Bird
okay. And plane.
Bird and plane.
3, 2, 1.
Passengers.
No, we know that. Let's go.
Oh, this is tough. Tough. Okay.
Plane. Sorry.
No,
Boeing
passenger and Boeing.
Passengers.
Okay.
Are you locked in? Okay, cool.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Cabin.
Parachute. Mate.
What are you talking about?
I'm skydiving.
But we're passengers and Boeing. So we're talking about the aircraft. What about the aircraft is diving, skydiving?
When the cargo falls out and like Tom Cruise has to go rescue
You're obsessed with Tom Cruise. It's the second time.
All right, cool.
Okay, so parachute and cabin. Can you lock in, please?
No, I'm locked in.
Stop being adventurous. Just lock in. Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Pilot. What the fuck is the army?
Because they parachute out of planes.
Folks, please. I don't know how people play this game, but...
Okay. Army and...
Pilot.
Surely we got it now.
Okay, army and pilot.
3, 2, 1.
Soldier.
Yeah.
Charge it. All right. Well, we tried. Thank you very much for coming to the part of the episode where we play a game. And we're going to move on to the next segment now.
This is the part of the podcast where we raise a discussion and bounce ideas and opinions off of one another.
Mm-hmm. And this week, Mo has something really special for us. I mean, we both are kind of knowledgeable on this topic, but Mo uspatele umsok.
Yeah, so have you heard about, what do you know about Alabuga?
Alabuga. Like the boogeyman.
Yep.
Is the boogeyman.
It is the boogeyman.
It's literally the boogeyman for African young black women, young African women. Alabuga is the boogeyman. That's what I know about it. I know actually quite a bit about it.
Yeah.
I know that, there are some South African influences implicated into this issue. I know that it's been a scam or scheme that's been running for many years now. But I think it was last year, 2024, if I'm not mistaken, where it started to really get its momentum. News coverage and all of this kind of stuff. People actually talking about it,
Possibly.
bringing articles and stuff like that. At least that's what I know about it. And I know a whole bunch of other things, and I have some questions in here for you as well. But yeah.
Yeah, so picture the scene. High levels of unemployment, well, as you know, in South Africa, mixed with corruption from the higher ups. It doesn't really paint a picture of opportunity for us young and up and coming leaders of the world. Leaders. So Alabuga is basically this Russian start program that before it came to South Africa, it focused its attention on Central Africa.
Oh, okay.
So the likes of your Ethiopias, etc.
Okay.
And basically they promise women specifically opportunities in Russia. So
You know the age range of the women, right?
yeah, the age range is really young.
Yeah, 18 to 22 years old.
This is one of the initial red flags that I can say these influencers were meant to see. But they want women from ages of 18 to 22, which is young, dude.
Young.
Which is young, dude.
18 for a lot of people, they're just graduating high school. 18, 19 for a lot of people, they're just graduating high school.
And they're not ready to be making these kind of decisions to be
No.
moving overseas. Do you understand
And
what I mean?
also your frontal lobe and your brain is not fully developed yet. Even at the max at 24, it's not fully developed. Your brain fully develops at 25.
And their requirements did not include people that had degrees. It was just bare. Are you 18 to 22? Are you a woman? Get on the plane.
Damn.
So they basically lure all these people into Russia, all these women into Russia, via the use of social media and mainly our media influencers.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I do want to say just a little bit more before you move into the influencers. Sorry, I have so many notes on here. So this organization, the school, the institution is called is in Tartazan, and it's the Alabuga Special Economic Zone, and it's basically a weapons
Program.
What the young women go into is into this weapons facility program, but what they were promised is something completely different. They were promised an exchange program, with some exchange students, Russia, Nakona, they're promised certifications, they're promised like if you're thinking of going to university abroad or you're thinking of studying abroad, you don't think I'm gonna end up in a warehouse somewhere. You're thinking
100%.
Education, upliftment,
International wages.
exactly, something that I can earn overseas and send money back home as well, because like you're saying, there really is a lot of desperation that now comes from the lack of opportunity for the
100%.
youth in South Africa. Obviously all over Africa there is this desperation and the lack of leadership, infrastructure and opportunities, but we're going to focus solely on, or mostly on South Africa, right?
South Africa, 100%. So it's alleged that over 200 South African girls have already been introduced into the program overseas.
Damn.
And I don't know, some of these influencers, I don't know if you know any of them since coming back. I don't know if you've kept up with your Sign Bougies, Abo Sima, Abo Zile.
Abo, wani, Omonaka.
Munaka, Bosiam Tanda, the likes of, I believe they were called the Ndwande twins.
Oh, wow, okay.
These are big influencers, big
Yeah.
names that they used. And all these people's audience is within the, you'd expect that age range.
Yeah, age range. Yeah.
Of women to be following these said influencers. So I had a few questions for you regarding. I don't know if you wanted to add anything else.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we'll move into the questions because as you can see, I have cues everywhere.
Okay.
But one of the things to note about this Alabuga situation is that their promotions, their campaigns, even where the influencers were posting or were on three primary platforms. So it was Facebook, which is obviously Meta, TikTok, and Telegram. Right. And so we're also seeing this involvement from these platforms or the oversight from these platforms, not actually checking and verifying all of these huge campaigns that are running on their platforms. I mean, they have what it takes to be able to monitor these larger scale campaigns that are happening, especially the campaigns that have been happening for actually quite a long time on their platform. So I know that they were asked for a response. I think it was in November 11th of last year, if I'm not mistaken. They were invited to respond to a particular article that was basically just laying out that the campaigns, they were taking place on these platforms and that this is actually a huge and massive scheme. So okay, yeah. So right now, I think the speculation is whether or not this is a human trafficking situation.
100%.
Right? And what does it mean for something to be a human trafficking event, scheme, or situation, right? So I was listening to Lion. She's a marketing expert. I really loved how she broke down the whole situation. So Ute, the spokesperson of the UN High Commission, whose name is Ravina Samdashani, if I'm not mistaken, she said that this could be human trafficking if the recruitment is fraudulent and the purpose is exploitation of these young women. So if somebody says to you, come and do, I'm advertising this job for you to come and do A and B and C, but actually what it is that you're going to be doing is X, Y, and Z, and it's about exploitation, then obviously that becomes an issue of human trafficking. But, this is still something that is being discussed. This is still something that the legal places are navigating. The last thing that I will say is that they were found to have labor rights violations.
Yeah.
Right? So they were found to have a few, I don't know if you know about any of the violations.
The ones that I know about are namely they were under surveillance during working hours. They worked long hours and they had difficulty in leaving the factories at times.
Yeah.
And they were exposed and working with very toxic chemicals.
Very toxic chemicals. And they were also being restricted from talking to any media sources or talking to any friends and family, talking to anybody who wasn't actually working in the warehouse. So again, we're seeing this really, really big restriction. And I think one of the other ones that was mentioned is that they were getting paid lower wages than what they were actually promised to be paid as well. But yeah, it was advertised as a work study program to begin with, which obviously it didn't become that. But yeah, please go ahead.
So my whole thing, what's your take on people taking influences as face value? Like when do you start buying into influencers, marketing campaigns, or the information that they try to put out there? Because personally, I can't see myself taking employment advice from Uko Slubi, from Umunaka. You know what I mean? Nothing shady or personal, but these are people that came on the internet and started making skits.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Nothing was informative about anything that they do.
Yeah.
And they're not in an industry, they're not in corporate, they're not in
educational sectors, nothing like that.
They were not involved in the sector that they were promoting themselves. None of them had been through the program themselves to let us know about it.
Yeah.
And their research was very face value. And I feel like with influencers, it's more about them getting their check, doing the campaign and moving on.
Absolutely. And I mean, this is definitely something, Sibonayo, that this is one of the reasons why these particular influencers were chosen, so that they could be that very oversight on, don't focus on the fact that these people are not actually in an educational space, that they're, that they haven't also spoken about themselves, even if they weren't going to this program, that they've never spoken about going to university, studying, all this kind of stuff, It was on purpose. It was for people and their audience to buy in at
So you
face
think
value.
they definitely sat down
100%.
and were very strategic about the
100%. 100%. Because we do have Abantu who are in the education sector. We do have people that do share informative information. But when sometimes you look at those metrics and those statistics, those people don't necessarily have a huge, what did Level call it? They don't have a huge potency of their influence. So I think that's something that they were looking at, is that how potent are these people's influence? And Abasayan Bougie, Abamanaka, Ababanbani, people admire them. I think they have very aspirational content,
Which
right?
is questionable.
In the fact,
okay.
in the fact that people aspire to be them. Not that they aspire, in a logical sense necessarily, but I think even in the desperation that we were talking about, that is born from the lack of opportunity. You want to be a Monaka, because even when Monaka was on TV, she was on a reality show, right? So you in your mind, you're thinking, oh, Nami, I can pop off when I'm on TV. She was on a podcast as well, even though that podcast was very dismal, but she was on a podcast. So I get, it's that potency of influence versus the relevance and the credibility of what it is that these people are actually talking about. So I do agree with you that influencers that were chosen for a particular reason, but also that the influencers didn't really do enough research.
100%.
I think, Uguti, like you're saying, the research is at face value. And I think this is something that has to be brought back, is being able to be conscious and caring about what it is that you are spreading to your audience, right? It is your responsibility. Yeah, you're an influencer when you're doing your thing, but at the end of the day, you have a duty and an obligation to your audience to make sure that you are safeguarding them. I mean, even before or even outside of this Alabuga situation, there's people who are advertising skin lightening creams. There's people who are advertising products that actually are harmful to them, but they won't tell you that they're harmful because, like you said, they're chasing the bag,
Yeah,
you know?
100%.
So there's a lot to be dissected here in terms of what the responsibility of the influencers was, and also how it was so easy for the influencers to also be scammed and to also be duped and to be also the victim in this. I think they are both victim and perpetrator in this whole scheme.
You think so?
I think so.
They also, because apparently the check was big. The checks were big being thrown around.
But that's the thing, though, right? That's part of it. Like, if you also remember, Guti, here in South Africa, we don't have creator programs. 100%. We don't have a creator fund. So if this brand is saying to you, I'm going to give you 100,000 or whatever the case might have been,
you might not see that again for a while.
Exactly. You might not see it for a while, but also, I'm a influencers, guys, let's be really honest, are like you and me. We tend to think of influencers and celebrities like they're learned, they're strategic, they have critical thinking, exactly, that they are even tech savvy, and they have these, what is it called? Digital literacy. We tend to think that Abantu who are good on social media have digital literacy, but they don't. We're seeing that right now. Yeah. They do not have digital literacy. So ama influencers they must go back and get ama programs, our digital literacy. You can't just do a one-page Google search. Like, if you actually know how Google works and how search engines work, you figure out what the SEO pushes things to the top, And as a company, I can pay for 1 million clicks so that my thing shows up on the first page at number 1. I can sponsor exactly. I can pages. Not even for you pages, just Google in general, right? You can pay as a company for those clicks, because that is what pushes it up. Every time you click on a website, you lift its ranking.
Higher for, whenever you search, that's the first thing that will pop up.
Exactly. And so that's part of digital literacy, like being able to understand, Guti, what are these search engines doing? How is this thing working? It's not enough to just know, the TikTok algorithm changed today, the TikTok algorithm. I think that's a start, but you really need to expand yourself and really own your responsibility and duty, I would say, as an influencer.
So what would you say about the influencers that actually flew abroad and say that they sat down and met with representatives of the Start Program, and some bumped into fans, like randomly bumping into a fan at the airport or having coffee right next to the institution. Do you think those were curated and sort of like planned?
Absolutely.
For them not to investigate anymore or to put up this front that, no, look, here are people that clearly know you, that are fans of yours, that are saying, they went home. Isn't it a strange question? So there's this influencer, Usia Mtanda. She sat down with some of the representative and her question was, so no, online we're seeing, she has a few questions for them because there's a lot of skeptics around the whole thing. And is it true that people can go home? Already, that is a red flag if you have to ask that.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying? That already, you shouldn't be having this conversation clearly with those individuals. Because what kind of question is that?
Absolutely. You shouldn't be having a conversation about being trapped. Why would people be trapped? Eskolweni, you're going to school. Why would you be trapped in an institution? But also we must remember that propaganda is a huge thing. Campaigns, our propaganda are huge. Look at what Donald Trump is doing. Everything Donald Trump is doing since in office is all a propaganda campaign, right? If we look at places like North Korea, I think if I'm not mistaken, where Kim Jong-un is
North Korea.
In North Korea, when people are, firstly, as a tourist, you can't just be arriving in North Korea. But there's certain parts where you're arriving in North Korea and it's curated and it's empty also. You'll see that 1, 2, 3 people, but it's very, very empty. They'll have, cardboard curated things just for you to be able to go grocery shopping and pick those things or whatever.
And
but underneath,
those stores are full of things.
Exactly.
But the population will tell you that they don't have access to a third of that situation.
So that's all propaganda. Look at what Hitler did. Hitler is all propaganda. Look at what Israel is doing with Palestine. It's all propaganda. So yes, obviously it's easy when you have money as well. I mustn't forget it's a Russian company. They have money. These people to do all this huge ass scheme, they have money. So yes, for me it's plausible that the influencers were able to go and sit down Nabantu and
who were already trained for that situation.
Exactly, and get feedback, because those girls that they spoke to, who's to say that those girls in the background were not only threatened if they were to speak up and tell the truth, but that they were groomed, or maybe Nabo, they were the only people that were in the capsule of school. So maybe they were just a handful. Maybe there were just a handful of people that were in the real capsule of school that could then say, no, my experience is authentic and it is genuine. So 100%. That's why I was saying to you, I think influencers in the South African influencers in particular in this thing, they are both victim and perpetrator. Yeah. I don't know if you want to say anything else, but I do have quite a few questions for you.
Sure.
So obviously the first question that I think I'll put out to you, but I think obviously the High Commission is going to respond and the legal side is going to say whether this is human trafficking or not.
Yeah.
It smells like human trafficking. It walks like human trafficking. It sounds like human trafficking. It probably is human trafficking. You know what I'm saying? We've just spoken about the responsibility of the influencers, but what do you think should be a result of this? I hate to use the word consequence, but I think there needs to be some level of a consequence. What consequence do you think the influencers in particular should be facing, knowing that they are both victim and perpetrator?
So me personally, because of the lives that have already been destroyed, maybe, or the people that have already gone overseas, I'd say me personally, they need to face charges. Right? This is a huge crime with trafficking around the world, especially in South Africa with the climate that we have, and that the women that live in it face. I 100% believe that they should be charged for most of these crimes. Maybe a penalty that they can introduce or try explore is for them to donate the money that the same amount of money that they got from this campaign to programs, or a program that is trying to get these girls back. You understand?
Yeah, or one that is just fighting human trafficking in general.
100%. And then I also think, depending on the law and what our constitution says, I feel like some of these influencers were old enough to pretty much know what they were doing. You know, I think some of them did see the red flags and just didn't care because it's a lot of money that they were getting. So I feel like that deserves some jail time for me personally. This is not a learning moment or a teachable moment.
Yeah.
This is something that happened and they contributed directly to it.
Yeah.
And these people that are gone, Mbali, these people that might not ever come back.
True.
Do you understand what I mean? There's people that will come back scarred, not trusting for the rest of their life. You understand? So personally, I'd feel the law needs to crack down a lot on them, because this was not opinions. This was not or a little mistake or a slip of words or anything like that. This was possibly human trafficking.
Yeah, so it's a huge deal.
What do you think?
It's a huge deal. I mean, I do agree on some level with you. I think there should be a penalty. You know, I think the penalty, that suggestion of yours that the penalty should be donating that money or redistributing the money that they got from the campaign to, you know, organizations that are working to either get, you know, the girls back or that are just working in general to stop human trafficking. Yes, I think Uguti, you know, some of these influencers, or maybe even all of the influencers that were involved, I think their accounts should be just paused for a little bit, and they have to go through a mandatory digital literacy thing. Like, they have to figure out how to be sharper. They have to figure out how to be better at not only just being an influencer, but knowing when you're influencing, no matter what you're influencing about, you are being educational, you are being informative, because there is messaging that you are sharing. So I think for me, even though, you know, we might say, oh yeah, the legal must crack down, but at the end of the day, umuntu's gonna get in jail, or person's gonna pay the fine, or whatever it is that's gonna happen, but then they're gonna come right back and still be the same person that they were before, in terms of being kind of reckless and lackluster in understanding the duty and the responsibility. So I think there should also be, yes, penalty, yes, maybe a legal situation, but also an educational one.
But I feel like South Africa, we're not in a place, and especially with a crime like this, we're not in the place of teachable moments. We're tired of that. We're tired of teachable moments. Every week, it's a teachable moment. Amatex, it's a teachable moment. It's a killing of Mang, it's a teachable moment. It's corruption, it's the cartel, teachable moment. We're tired of teachable moments.
Fair.
It's time for the law to be exercised. It's time for the law to work for its people.
Exactly. But I also think that a legal stance then, and the law should also crack down on our government. That they should also be implicated, because they are implicated into this.
There are some that are being investigated as well.
Exactly. But even just in general, bro, like even the way Donald Trump was able to shut down TikTok in America, it was only for less than 24 hours, if I'm not mistaken. But I think that is a way to see that our government, your leadership has power.
And they're involved.
But how are they exercising that power? Because like Ulebo Lion said, the government could be asking for certain metrics and measures and stuff like that to be put in place, in particular to protect South African citizens people, or people that are in South Africa that are on these platforms. Like that, I think, is also part of the responsibilities, that our government is also not outraged enough. But in general, we know our government is not outraged enough by gender-based violence, sexual violence, sexual abuse, sex trafficking, human trafficking, whatever, the disappearance of girls, boys, men, women. Our government just does not have enough outrage and enough that thing that you're saying, like, put your foot down and do something about it. I mean, I'm tired of this passive, oh yeah, this person's going to be in jail for 2 days. Oh yeah, this person is going to be doing community service. Fuck that shit. Because at that point, there is somebody who is not coming back, like you said.
100%.
There is a family who is damaged forever. So the damage is really insurmountable. That you cannot calculate the damage. That's how bad the damage is.
It's not a teachable moment at all. We'll educate after these consequences is how I feel.
Fair. That's what I agree with you. I think there should definitely be consequences.
With these if the law does really put its hand down, the conversation will naturally arise. Okay, so as an influencer, what are the rules that I have to play by? What are the precautions that I have to take, etc., etc.
Fair.
But we can't be giving those precautions now.
Yeah, prior to the consequences. No. That's fair. I mean, I think you're right with saying, Guti, some of these influencers just really didn't care, and there was oversight. What's his name, Sasha? I forget
Sasha
what he...
Domenico.
Yeah. Sasha Domenico came and did a
yeah.
very dumb-ass apology. He should have just kept his mouth quiet.
What did he say? How come?
Because he came on to whatever platform he was using. He's like, yeah, I just want you guys to know that I have, 2 or 3 managers, and before I do a campaign or anything like that, my managers all have to vet it. So you're telling me that 3 grown-ups could not do research beyond the initial Google page, right? Let's say, fine, you guys did it before there were all these articles that were pushed to the top because people weren't really focusing on this Alabuga situation. But it's their responsibility to go even to the 100th fucking page
and
Google and figure out what the hell is happening with this thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so... It really doesn't make sense to me. Uguti, how can people be so complacent? And I think this is the thing, even with celebrity culture, even with that millionaire who built the submarine, and then all those people went and they died in that submarine because people just bought into the fact that this person was rich.
Yeah.
But just because you're rich, it doesn't mean you're smart. It doesn't mean that you're smart. It doesn't mean that you're disciplined in figuring out what your intellectual ability is in that particular topic, right? But I think that also then the responsibility falls on us, the audience. It falls on us, the audience. Now we must also be taking to charge, because we can't just be saying, oh yeah, influencers must be whatever. No, these people were also victimized, right? But in as much as somebody puts something up, you make the choice to say ngiyalandela angilandeli ngiyangena angingeni. Umuntu makangakuthengisela skin bleaching cream, it's your responsibility to go and research what skin bleaching does to people. It's your responsibility to investigate why you even want to skin bleach your own skin.
Actually, just on the side, do you think South Africans know a lot about the law and their rights? Because I feel like we don't sue enough.
No, we don't know a lot about our laws and our rights.
Companies enough.
We don't even know a lot about how the government runs. We as South Africans don't know much. And I think this is also the fault of the ANC at that critical moment when apartheid fell, is that what we saw in apartheid is there was just a change of body. There was a change of face and a change of body. Yeah, izinto zama affirmative action, they're brilliant, don't get me wrong. But what is important when you're doing these kinds of things is the transference of knowledge also has to go. Yes, fine, we were able to vote for the first time, but do you actually critically know guti vote yini? Do you know what you're voting for? Do you actually sit down and read, what it is that Sir Ramaphosa is promising you? How can you hold him accountable if you don't know what he said he was going to promise you? So we're really not investigating. And then we also have apathy. Because things are not working. So people are very apathetic. They're very nonchalant. They really don't care. They're like, politics doesn't affect me. Yeah, but politics does affect you. Our lives are political. They remain political, especially everywhere in the world. But for me, especially in South Africa, our lives are very, very political. But we are not willing to educate ourselves on that. We're really not willing to do that. And unfortunately, we've just lost somebody who not only is a great voice in politics, but also for me is a brilliant journalist. What's her name again? Utsidi, yeah. Utsidi, that shook me. I don't know about y'all, but that shook me. But I feel like people like about Tsidi, they're so important because in the way that Tsidi delivers information, she can talk to umuntu ozfilangatula and a person, who doesn't necessarily have all of the language and the lingo in figuring out how politics works. So I think that we need to take ourselves as the citizens of South Africa to task to say shintsha le ndaba and say shintsha with understanding and with learning. It doesn't need a phone, doesn't need high-tech technology, it needs people sitting down and communicating. If you have read a book about politics, mele ukhulume nabangani bakho, nyekele smoker ihabli over stupid things. Yes, yenzani habli, hambani ne groove, but man se groove, nixoxe ngama politics. You see, and I think this is also the thing, is that we seem to segment our lives. We're like, no, this place is only for this place is only for this. Nah, baby. No. Because when the government is going to shit, the government is not just choosing water is going to shit, not everything.
Because what's also happening with our water, but I think also the other problem that we face, especially as South Africans, is that I feel like we've almost been designed to accept whatever follows in any situation. Like we just accept, we move on, and we drink. We have a huge drinking problem. We drink.
We've definitely been programmed to do that. Like, look at what Nelson Mandela did. Look at what Desmond Tutu did. In Dabazama Rainbow Nation. In Dabaza turned the other cheek. Like, in as much as, obviously, Abantu didn't want to do reverse apartheid on white people. But I think there should have still been some kind of I don't want to say retaliation, and not necessarily in like, killing people and subjugating them and oppressing them necessarily. But I think that there needed to be that empowerment. I think that's what we're missing.
Focus on the
empowerment. Yes. On the black South African. Yes. As a black South African, where is your empowerment? Our government, ANC, did never empower us. Guys, I'm sorry. The ANC has never empowered black people. All they've given you is a vote, but they've never given you the opportunity to learn what your vote is about. That's why even to this day, even if ANC doesn't cater for anything, they can do their campaign, banigi ikipa, baniga ma food parcels, bahambe bayoncabuza abantwana benu in the street, nina niyajabula senjabulile sen. Now that's enough. It is absolved. I forget who was saying, but also somebody was saying ukuthi lendaba yokubiza, like sometimes isintu or like our tradition really holds us back, because in our traditions, fathers, uncles, whatever, they're called obaba. And in a traditional household, you don't question ubaba. You don't
however wrong they can be.
Exactly. You don't question ubaba. And so ukbiza labantu, oh baba ini, oh baba what, you're giving them that reverence, which takes away your power. So I think we have to restructure the way that we're thinking about things and actually start to see things for what they really are, and not have escapism that we have been fed. We've been fed into escapism.
100%.
That's why our even fucking Showmax is doing our 16 and Pregnant, all these shows that are mimicking what they're doing in the US. It's all a ploy to not empower us. It's all a ploy to make it seem like, oh yeah, we're reaching to be a what is it called? First world country. We're becoming a first world country or whatever. I don't care. I mean, I'm not competing to be first world, third world, last world. I'm competing to make sure that there's actually an active, proper working future for the people of South Africa. So don't buy into trying to be more American, more European, more whatever.
More sustainability.
Yes, be African and focus on South Africa and focus on Africa, focus on wherever you are. But make sure that you are educating yourself, guys. I think we're lacking in education. And when I say education, I'm not just talking school. I'm talking about all forms of education. All forms of education, because education teaches you critical thinking.
100%.
And that critical thinking skill is the reason the lack of that critical thinking skill is the reason why we ended up here. It's the reason why the influencers ended up here.
Didn't go to tertiary after high school.
Do you see what I'm saying?
So really, that critical thinking,
exactly.
We did it to ourselves, innit?
And if you didn't go to tertiary, that's fine. But where else? Where else are you actually feeding yourself? But I don't want this to become a 3-hour long podcast episode, because I have quite a few questions for you. What do you think should change about influencer culture in general?
What should change in general? I don't think I interact with a lot of influencers, or maybe I just don't realize it, but I don't know. I think...
But what is an influencer? When you say you don't interact with a lot of influencers, what is an influencer? Because the word influencer comes from the word influence. So somebody who can influence you, somebody who can change your behavior, your thought,
you see, they don't.
Your feelings. Okay.
And that's the unfortunate thing with me, is that, especially in South Africa, I don't think there's anyone that I take really seriously.
Fair.
Especially the people my age, and the cats that are just mimicking what a lot of Americans do, because I feel like we try solve third world country problems with first world ideas,
solutions, and all of this is third world. First world is like this, guys, because that thing's bullshit.
And there's a disconnect. We're trying to bring their policies into here, and they don't work here. We're still way behind, on a lot of things that we are facing. You understand? So for me, I don't know if there's something I'd say has to change in particular. It's just the people that consume the media, they have to hold themselves at a certain caliber.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
they will filter out the nonsense, more or less.
So, all of these three platforms that I mentioned, Telegram, TikTok, and Facebook/Meta, were asked to respond, obviously. And TikTok responded. TikTok, responded in a very, very what's that, diplomatic way.
Okay.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity to respond to this thing, blah 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 blah. We're checking our community guidelines and our policies. We're gonna
We'll get back
and
to
all
that.
of the accounts and the campaigns of this thing, we've now shut them down, we have now blocked them, or whatever the case is. What do you think the responsibility and the accountability and even the consequence for these platforms should be, in particular in South Africa?
So for starters, they made money. At the end of the day, they made money the same way these influencers made money. And that money, we need a paper trail. And that money also needs to be redistributed to campaigns. And we want to see not just the statement, but we want to see them actually allocate resources to helping in aiding getting
The women back.
women back, right? Because they also did participate in that. But then they come to the question, Uguti, so what are they meant to do? Are they meant to now censor
Yes.
certain things?
Maybe not necessarily censor. I mean, first of all, they're doing that shit anyway. They're censoring the crap out of any Palestinian content that you see out there. Anytime you mention the Congo, the DRC, they're censoring it. So they already have these measures in place to censor things, right? They already do. I agree with what Lebuline said. Lebuline, love you, babe. But I agree with what she said in terms of what it is that they can do, these folks. And what they can do is that instead of just doing the censorship, blocking thing, they can actually run ads to warn people against the scheme.
Okay.
Right? Because this scheme, human trafficking. So if really this goes against your community guidelines, blah, 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 and you're saying, Guti, and Nina, you had no part in it, and you want to do as much as you can in order to figure out how to help, warn people. So from this day forward, from this moment forward, Alabuga should be coming up as an ad on your thing. You show Guti, beware, Alabuga scam, beware of this scheme, beware. I think that it has to be a responsibility of these platforms to also offer some level of digital literacy. But then I think that we're thinking that these platforms actually have our best interests at heart, and they don't. They are a money-making machine. That is what they care about, is money.
And the problem, I think, also with, they can't necessarily right now come out and say Alabuga is a human trafficking thing and warn you against it. They can warn you against scams in general because everything is still alleged.
So that's fine. Everything is still alleged, but maybe they won't say Alabuga is a human trafficking scheme, but they can still say beware,
Multiple
Alabuga, whatever, beware,
school.
Because the fact that you say the Alabuga name is not saying that you imply it's a human trafficking thing. So you can still run an ad that warns people without coming to a conclusion that hasn't been legally actually put in place. Yeah. There's ways that you can warn people. They warn you about sensitive content that's not even sensitive content. Somebody is showing chest hair and they're like, this content is sensitive. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck is sensitive about chest hair? Oh my god, man. You know what I'm saying? I think we do have this assumption that all of these platforms have our best interests in heart. They do not, guys. They don't care about us. Even this very YouTube that we're going to be posting on, they don't care about us, because tomorrow when these people want to censor something, when they want to close down, when they become bankrupt, they don't care about you. There's a lot of people that even don't want to talk about all of these campaigns that raise awareness, because they know that immediately, the moment they say one word wrrong, one whatever,
they can get sued.
They're censored. They're censored.
I thought you were saying the platforms themselves.
No, they're censored. Abantu, the actual influencers are censored. You have somebody with 2 million followers, but they only have 300 views on their things. You know what I'm saying? That is censorship right there. Because that's no longer about, work the algorithm, fix the algorithm. You have 2 million people following you. What the heck?
You fell off.
Absolutely crazy. So that is one. And then, another thing that they can do, including, warning us ngama ads or scams, but they can also run a more thorough keyword search. They can do these keyword checks because they do them, guys. They do them. We think, Uguti, these platforms are not sophisticated enough to do these things. They are doing them. They are doing them. So hold them accountable. There's a lot of radio station people that have spoken about this. 94.7, Abo Anele, they actually, I don't know if it was Anele in particular, maybe somebody on the production team, but they called into the school, this Russian school, and this guy was like, hey, I heard about the program or whatever, I'm interested, who can I speak to? And the lady was like, yeah, I can definitely help you, but I just want to tell you, Guti, all the information is on our website, and once you apply, an HR person will reach out to you. And he's like, well, can I just talk to you now? Can I talk to the HR rep? She's like, no, unfortunately you can't talk to anybody, but somebody will reach out to you when you have applied. So again, that's that block, right? That's that, somebody's going to slip up. So everything is scripted.
Yeah.
Everything is curated. Exactly. There's a sophisticated plan. And this is just one of the scams. La in South Africa, job scamming is huge. CBD, Rodipot, Goopy. People, because we're so desperate for jobs, guys. Even me, myself, I was even saying in my family group chat, I said, even if I've arrived 3 months in, I've applied to 1 million jobs, and I have not gotten even a response. I have to train myself to not be desperate. I'm fortunate enough that I have a family to lean on,
100%.
But I have to somehow take away that desperation, because if I am desperate, I'm going to fall into perilous hands, and I'm going to go one day for an interview and you guys will never see me again, So again, that's why I'm saying our government is to blame. Number one on the list to blame.
Is your government.
Never mind the influences. Number one is the government. When a cupcake.
He takes this as a part-time.
When a cupcake.
We'll
Nyakchela, Baba. Nyakchela. Where is that guy who was doing the police thing? What's his name? Mkwanazi, my man. Mkwanazi, sisize, Baba. Sisize. Because honestly, we need your voice. We need your passion, your rallying. Even though I think his term is going to finish April or May next year. My guy, please find a way to still be doing the good work that you're doing. So then my last question that I have here is, should you be an influencer if you cannot research thoroughly? Should you be an influencer if you cannot research thoroughly? Because of course, siyazi, like for example, if Mac comes into your DMs, right? Mac comes into your DM, says, we know you're a makeup person, you should be going to that page that DM'd you and first looking to see how many followers does that page. Mac will not reach out to you and it's a Mac page that has 20 followers.
100%.
Don't be dumb. I followed Connie Ferguson not so long ago. I think I got about 5 Connie Ferguson scam bot pages things
in your requests,
in my requests, and it's it's necessary for me to go and look. Connie Ferguson, she has hundreds of thousands of followers. Sweetie, you have 27. How are you a Connie Ferguson with 27 followers and 1 post? So that is the literacy that one has to do, even in emails. Guys, email soundofsiblings@gmail.com/0181 Pacific Coast fly like a bird Marvel. Kabangani, guys. Kabangani. So should you be an influencer if, let me not even say can't research thoroughly, should you be an influencer if you do not have enough digital literacy?
So how I'm hearing it is because influencing is a job, right?
It can become a job, yeah.
Right? So should you have the right to work without certain expertise? See, like.
But I mean, yes.
I'd say, but how do you?
When you apply,
how do you now gatekeep it, or how do you how would you register? Would you, oh no, as in like Linda Line, yeah. It's Linda Line.
The thing that I was saying,
you can follow her. How would you say, Lorna, you can't, Lorna, you can, Lorna, you can't, Lorna, you can. This one's credible, this one's not.
Well, I mean, first of all, it's up to you to figure out what the credibility is as an audience member. But this is why I am saying that maybe when somebody reaches a particular threshold, right, of a potency of influence, let's say, right? When somebody reaches that particular threshold, again, this would be something that the government has already put in place to safeguard not only the influencers, because Nakona, it's just lucky that these influencers now didn't disappear.
Oh, you think so?
It's just lucky that these influencers also didn't disappear. You see what I'm saying? It's just lucky that they also didn't disappear. So once you get to a certain threshold, I think there needs to. I really think that there needs to be almost like a job description. When you go to a job description, you read a job description. If you don't have the 3-4 necessary requirements, you do not qualify. You know, so it's important, I think, for the government to institute into these platforms. Okay, if there's somebody who reaches, let's say, 500,000 followers, they'll get flagged to us or to wherever, and we will go sihlale nabo and make sure that we are routinely checking them to do certain things. Just like a CPA has to do an exam every other whatever year. You know, Basi is a lawyer, you're going into law. You're not only you're going to write your current exams for undergrad, board exams, this exams, you want to go be an attorney, you got to write this, you got to write this. I feel like we need to start, because now influencing has become a job. You know, it's become a business that people can make. When you have a business, there's certain things that you have to do. Maune business as well. You know, you need a business number, all these things. Apparently SARS is also going after influencers now. For the Chilete.
Have they not been paying the taxes?
Again, who can say that somebody who cannot Google beyond the first Google page is actually informed enough and aware about business and business tax and registering your business, right? So this is also the other thing. It's like we need to be offering this education, but we need to find ways to have a marker for these things, you know. So figure gupi. Okay, when you have 250,000 followers, fine. Level Lion already automatically Level Lion knows about you. Level Lion's company contacts you. Okay, you're gonna come in. We're gonna do this 6-week course about whatever. Mauqeta that course. Even the certificate doesn't just go to you. That certificate goes to you, but it also goes back to TikTok, or it goes back to the government, and the government says, good, check, we're fine, jum, page yako, iyavula futhi.
Or it gets the tick or whatever.
Or no, even besides the tick, because people can pay for the tick.
No, I'm saying if it worked in that manner, then the tick would be a reward of all these certificates.
Exactly, it would be a verification. Then there can be like 5 levels of ticks, you know. It can start at a yellow, which means this person has kind of done the first level of whatever. So I think, yes, it's important for there to be infrastructure
around
built around influencing, especially because this is happening. But nyantela manje, guys, these influencers, maybe not these particular ones, but influencers in general, they're probably caught up in so many false campaigns. But because they don't do their research, they're not diligent enough, and also
they need the money.
Yeah, but also they're your everyday person. So if Umuntu reaches out to me and I've seen my other influencer pals doing a campaign for this person,
because that's what most of them were saying. I saw Mang that I know, or Mang that is probably credible, which is why I think even with what happens sometimes maybe with these influencers is that as soon as it's an international brand especially, they always think, these people have crossed their T's and dotted all their I's. You know, they're an international brand. They don't want to be sued. They don't want to be caught up in any lawsuits. So they've done all the work for me.
Exactly.
Now I must just promote this thing.
And also there's this thought, because they're international, I'm just a low-level fruit. I'm just a small fish. So why would they manipulate me as 100%. The small fish? They're international, you know. They have so much money, so much opportunity. So again, we think that we owe these people to immediately sign. You know, but they need you. That's why they reached out to you, because they need you to bring your audience into this situation, Nabo. So yeah, sorry, let me just check if I have one more. No, yeah, I think that's everything for this topic for me at the very least.
Yeah. Myself as well.
Okay, cool. So, folks, it's important, please, hambanyo fundi digital literacy. And in nama phone, guys, you guys have phones. You have phones. There are a lot of platforms that do free education and free courses. Udemy is one of them that does free courses and free what. Just take iskati to inform yourself and to educate yourself.
And the young ones around you, most especially.
Most
vulnerable.
Yes, especially this whole, you're invading my privacy. Invader, you're not 14. I'm not saying Guti, I'm gonna invade your privacy and harm you, but I'm invading your privacy to make sure that your privacy is also not being invaded from the other side. You know, it's not just your mom who is invading your privacy when
world.
Your mom is checking. Yes, there are people out there that are designed to invade your privacy, you know, to really invade your mind and your being. You know, so take back the power, guys. Our attention. We think money and currency is the most lucrative thing. No, the most valuable thing in this day and age with technology is our attention. And your attention span. So yes, our patalanga, that 500 rand to go buy that product, but you've watched all 170 videos from that person. That is way more valuable to that person than that little 500 rand that you were gonna go and pay.
And it has a cost on you.
Absolutely. So guys, please. And also, if you know anybody, the last thing that I'm going to say, I think there was a WhatsApp message that came from one of the girls that is in this situation right now.
Overseas?
Yeah. Okay. She in Russia, and she was saying that you know, please check up on me. Don't forget about me. Ask questions about me. And then she was saying, Guti, she doesn't know how long she's going to be able to be in contact with, because they also are going to give them new SIM cards. Right? So again, when we think about how sophisticated the scam is, it's sophisticated, guys. It's a sophisticated thing. Ningacabangini nje ukuthi abantu bangatholeka kanjani. It's sophisticated. It's sophisticated. Kuboshwe lesikolo sishiswe ilento that warehouse ishiswe, because even not only are they taking advantage of these more than 200 African women. So I think they're African women. I don't think it's just South Africa.
Not just South African, 100%.
But they're also abantu abafile lapha. They saw Guti in the warehouse. They have 14-year-olds, so underage minors, even working in this gun factory as well. So they're making. We didn't even say what they were making. So weaponry, and they're making drones to go towards the war between Russia and Ukraine. You know what I'm saying?
That's so real.
So at the end of the day, when now you can think, I'm a low level, whatever, I'm just going to be naive. Guys, naive is too high of a price to pay. Naivete, maihambe. Naivete, guys. You cannot be naive. You have to educate yourself on nuance.
Very sophisticated. Go to Google. Influencing into a weapon. That's insane.
Bro. They have turned influencing into a weapon.
That's crazy.
You know, and that's diabolical. So I'm not saying cancel anybody, because I think sometimes also the canceling doesn't do enough, because we are buuya umuntu.
Agabosh.
We are buuya umuntu.
No, agabosh.
We are buuya. So, you know, yes, magabosh, pay a fine, all this stuff. Now we pay a fine. And your fine, if you want to think about it, is to educate yourself. It's to take back the power. It's to empower yourself. Guys, digital literacy is free. It's free. All these SEO things that I'm telling you about, free. I got it for free. Free. The only thing I had to pay was my attention and my time. Free. So, guys, be better. Be better. I'm sorry, but be better. Okay. Wow. Okay, no worries. So, I guess we'll move into... I'm hot even having had this conversation.
It's a big one.
Yeah, but if you have any other information, please let us know. I'm going to put on the screen here helplines, numbers for people that you think Uti are experiencing human trafficking, sexual trafficking, anything like that. We'll put up my contact details and organizations that you guys can actually contact and reach out to. the last segment of the podcast. Do you have a hot take?
My hot take.
My hot take, Yashisa. And my hot take, Yashisa, because I've been watching these shows, Love is Blind, UK, I've been watching
Sex
Love
on the
Island, I've been watching Too Hot to Handle, all these shows that are literally sex on a stick, most of them, White people, Abelung, white people, stop it. Stop saying, I want somebody who's tall, dark, and handsome. And you're talking about another white person. Nizonshaya. You must be arrested if you say that.
You want someone who's tall, tan, and whatever.
Exactly. You want somebody who's tall and tanned. And even the people that you're saying are tanned, they're not even tanned. A person who has olive skin is not tanned. I'm sorry. That person is still white. So stop doing that, because again, it plays into anti-racism. It plays into racism. It plays into anti-blackness as well. Because if you're telling me that Umlungu, who looks much lighter than this, is
crazy.
Is dark. Then mangahlangana novusi. No bobo, and then ubobo and actual black person whose skin complexion is much darker. Exactly. Then what are they? Then what are you gonna say if that is your type? What are you gonna say if that's your type? Guys, white people, come get your acts together. And it's not even just the people on these reality shows. I've seen loads of people tall, dark, and handsome. Oh yeah, my husband is tall, dark, and handsome. White person. Are you fucking joking? Are you crazy? Are you fucking joking? Stop being anti-black in your sentiments. I think you guys think it's cute and whatever. It's not cute. White people cannot be dark. There is no white person that can be dark. I'm telling you this today. There is no white person that can be dark. So stop it, because what you're saying is anti-blackness. Full stop is anti-blackness. Because even on Love Island, you can't be saying, I'm looking for tall, dark, and handsome, and then there's Olandria and Shelly.
And you're talking about
the fucking
palest guy.
Exactly. Some random white guy who maybe got a little bit of a pink tan. Are you fucking kidding me? Stop it, man. Stop it. It's smelly. Stop that shit.
That is a hard take.
Stop that shit. Anyway.
All right, folks. Well, we hate to leave you.
We hate to leave you, but we gotta do it.
We gotta go.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So please follow us on all platforms. We will put the links in the description, as well as put them here on screen. But you can find us everywhere at Sound of Siblings. And yeah, please come interact with us. We're always there to exchange ideas and opinions and discuss with you further. And sometimes gain pointers from you guys and correct maybe some perceptions and opinions that we might have had on particular situations, especially if they are talking about something that you have firsthand information or experience about. But yeah.
Exactly. We are not infallible. We're not infallible. We're not infallible. We're also an audience. We're also individuals. But what I hope that we can continue to do is to remember our duty and our responsibility to the people that are paying with their attention 100%. To watch our show. Yeah. So if we are wrong, if there's something that we got wrong, let us know. And we will correct it. We will not double down like other podcasts. Nah. If we're wrong, we can be wrong. Don't worry. Our parents tell us we're wrong on a daily basis. So we're used to being wrong. We're used to it. But anyway, I have been Mbali.
And I've been Mo.
And we are the Sound of Siblings. And see you guys in the next episode.
See you next week.